Hi, welcome back to another session of Getting Real Estate with Stacey. Today I have with me Christine Raffa. We met actually at a networking function, and I was so impressed with what she does. She's a real estate lawyer as well as teaching real estate classes at Hofstra. So I figured I would bring her in so you guys can meet with her.
Hi, nice to meet everybody. My name is Christine Raffa. I'm a real estate lawyer with Suris and Associates in Melville, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So tell me how you got started in the industry.
I went to undergrad school at Iona College, and I always loved the law. Always wanted to do something that had to do with either criminal justice or the law. And came out of college, and one of my first jobs that I applied to was a law firm in Uniondale called Margiata and Rosigliano. I started working for them and was working for them for almost 15 years. While I was working with them, just kind of doing entry level work with them, they said, you're good at what you do. You're come to work on time, put in the effort, and why don't you go to paralegal school so we could pay you some more money? So I said, all right, that sounds great. I went to Nassau Community College it took me 3 years. They had a program then. Finished that program, and about 7 years after that, they came back to me and said, why don't you go to law school? This is silly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I ended up going to Hofstra Law. And
And you were still working there in the interim.
yeah, so I was still working there. I went to law school full time and worked full time.
That's unbelievable. So they
Yes.
really helped you, decide on your path. What would you have done if you didn't become
I probably would have went into the police department.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was
Okay.
one thing I wanted to do.
And then what happened when you left, like after you worked there?
So I worked there. And then after I graduated from law school, I ended up getting married. I wasn't married at the time. I ended up getting married and then getting divorced pretty soon thereafter. Um, and
Did your career have anything to do with why?
it had not too much to do with it, but it definitely was something. It probably was more me. I was really driven. I love to work. I need to be moving constantly, 24/7. And so he was more of a homebody, and so it was just
Okay.
didn't quite work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you end up being a real estate professor?
Okay, so I ended up then getting married shortly thereafter and having children, and I took a little bit of a leave of absence. And when I went back to work, I ended up going back to work for one of the partners that was at my old firm. Was on his own. The other partners were elderly, and the firm dissolved. And I went back there, and there was a judge that basically was part of the firm. He would come in, have office space, consult with us as with the other lawyers. And he said he was the administrative judge at Hofstra for the paralegal program, and involved with the law school there. And he came to me one day and said, "Hey, we've got this position at the paralegal program for a real estate teacher. Would you like to do it?"
Wow.
So I went and got certified by New York State to teach for the paralegal program.
Right.
And I taught a number of subject matters for them for 10 years, and then COVID hit. Yeah, and so I was an administrator there with them as well for a period of time, about 2 years, overseeing, being a liaison between the teachers and the students at that point in time. And then COVID hit. I took on some other classes, so I teach the real estate salesperson's course now over there, and I teach the title closer course.
Oh, that's
now.
great.
And I still teach there to this day.
But you said you just were telling me before we started taping that you're doing it remote.
Yeah, so we do it from home. It's a Zoom class. I get anywhere from 30 students to, we had 71 students in one of the last classes for the real estate salesperson's course. I co-teach it with 4 other teachers because it is a 78-hour course. But it's wonderful. I love it. We teach it from home. And
So, do you see age-wise of the I say kids because I think
Right.
college, but what are the ages of the people coming into taking classes? And you would also think because of the way the industry is now, like with the home prices and the mortgage rates, that people would not want to become a real estate, agent or
Yeah.
something. But obviously not if you're having 70 kids in the class.
yeah, so that was just the last class that we had, which was a couple of months ago. So as to the age thing, we get such a large range. It's actually amazing. We get some students that are graduated from college and just don't know what they want to do. Remember, it's a continuing education course, so you have to have a college degree before you take it, a 2-year degree. And so we get a lot of right out of college, don't know what they want to do, and this
Great
is
to
what
have the license. Of
it's.
course.
I mean,
Of
it's
course.
really a great
Right. It's like a
license to have.
no-brainer.
No
Of course.
brainer. Part time, full time. You could do it.
Exactly.
Anytime.
Exactly. Which we've had women on here that have done it. They're pharmacists. They do this part time, or they do other things,
Right.
and they do this part time.
It's a home run job.
Right. Of course.
And then we get retirees that are just either bored or do need an additional income,
Right.
And looking to pick up and not work full time, work on their own schedule, that kind of thing. It's really a great job for that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as far as the title closing, you do that as well there
Yeah,
too.
I teach the title class.
So do they need to be notarized before the class?
Yeah, they have to become notaries, not before the class, but in order to work as a title closer, you have to be a notary. So I always tell them my first, introduction is first and foremost, sign up for the notary exam.
So now, if somebody said to you, I don't know if you actually get to, well, not really, because you're most it's remote. But if somebody said to you, I just graduated college, I don't know if I should go for the title class or if I should go to real estate. Has anybody ever asked you that?
Yeah, so I actually sometimes get emails from the administration that people email them and say, like, what's the difference? People sometimes don't know the difference. Being a real estate salesperson, you have to get licensed with New York State. You have to work for a company or go out on your own at some point. Title closer is not a licensed job. You don't need a license. You don't need any kind of higher education. You can take the title closer course without any college background or anything.
But you need to pass the notary test.
You have to pass the notary exam, New York State's notary exam, but there's no exam to be an actual title closer. You just have to find your way into the industry, which I also explain in the class. Being a real estate salesperson is definitely more money. But as to your question before about, in this time right now where real estate is kind of at a lull, do we see a lot of numbers in the salesperson's class? We actually don't drop off that much, believe it or not. Real estate is crazy, right? It ebbs and flows, and when it's good, it's great,
Right.
and when it's bad, it's like now, real bad, right? But there's always something, right? We're always going to sell houses. We're always going to buy houses.
Right.
So there's always going to be, a
need for
need
it.
for
Exactly.
salespeople. So I find that a lot of more people do it when it's when there's more downtime in their other jobs or so.
Of course. Or I would also think that, if people have extra time and they are also looking in even investing in real estate for themselves, or if they want to help family members purchase homes or something, even if they don't want to do it as like a job, but
Yes.
even just the knowledge.
I always say if you can get 2 deals a year and they're both your family members, it's still money in your
Exactly.
pocket.
Absolutely. Did you ever think about becoming a real estate agent?
Yeah, so I actually just submitted to get my license recently. I've always done, during the day, had my full-time day job and taught at night, so it was always a little too much. But now I'm looking into doing that. I just submitted for it.
So how do you become the teacher and the student?
Well, that's a good question, right? I can still teach it. I just don't have to take the class because I get a waiver because I'm already
So you
certified
just have to take
teach.
the exam and that's it?
I don't even have to take the state exam. I just submit it for my license.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's
Well, my
good.
name is
It's
Stacey. I'm
usually-
an MLO, so when you start becoming a real
Yes,
estate
you got it. You got it. Girl power. I love it.
Exactly. That's great.
Excellent.
Did you ever think about becoming a mortgage loan originator?
No, that's one avenue I never thought to actually do. I do know I have a couple of colleagues that actually do both. They practice and they're actually MLOs also.
I've thought about it, so we'll see what happens.
Go for it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you're not? I mean, you're so busy between being a lawyer and a professor, and what do you do on your downtime?
I have 2 teenagers
Oh, there you go. That's
and a
cool.
husband that acts like a teenager.
Oh,
No,
yes, of
and a
course.
husband. He's wonderful. He's great.
How old are your teens?
15, and my daughter will be 16 on Wednesday, and my son
very
will be
nice.
15. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I just Uber them around.
Yeah. Until they start driving, that's what it is.
Right. And I'm teaching one to drive now. So yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And is there something in particular that you enjoy doing with them, or in your own time when you're not, Well, first, how about what do you like to do when you're in your own free time for yourself?
The gym.
Ah, okay.
I find it just clears my head.
How do you have
and,
time to go?
Yeah, I find time. I find time. I make sure that I do everything, try to do everything on a balanced, equal level, whether it's mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, in that regard.
You need to do that. I
You
mean,
do.
you can't. Your professional life would not
Thrive if I didn't.
thrive or
That's
be
correct.
successful if you didn't take care of yourself first.
Fully agree with that.
Absolutely.
Right.
And,
Sometimes you go off the rails a little bit, but you
That's okay.
come back
of
and
course.
yeah.
And what about with your kids? Is there something that you guys enjoy doing together?
So my husband and my son, they dirt bike ride.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't quite do that.
Do they have their own?
They do.
Okay.
They do. Yep. And my daughter actually works at the gym, so she comes with me too to the gym. She likes
That's
to work
great.
out.
What
I
gym
like
do you
to
belong to?
Synergy in Merritt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I like
great.
to we like to just do family stuff. We love to go on vacation together.
Very nice. What's your favorite
our kids
spot?
are good. Aruba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Aruba.
I've been there many, many, many years in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's our spot. We have timeshare there, and
It's a nice place to have your kids, go
yes.
on vacation.
And I travel with my sister and our cousins and stuff. We have
Do you
kids
usually
all
go
the same
Christmas
age.
time or
February break.
February break?
Yeah.
And then when they go to college, you'll switch to probably Christmas.
Right. We'll
Right,
switch
that's
to
what we
something.
did.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes. Yeah, it's great.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here today.
My
This is
pleasure. Thank you for
great.
having me.
And good luck with becoming a real estate agent and everything else.
thank
That's
you.
awesome.
We'll be in
Awesome.
touch.
Yes,
for sure.
definitely.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you again. We will see you next time on Getting Real Estate with Stacey.